going to be looking at is mobile asset deployment. Mobile asset deployment is the next concept that we're going to be looking at. So let me show you where we are in the module. We're in mobile asset deployment. That is going to be our next concept in asset and change management. In the asset and change management, that's the next thing we're going to be looking at, okay? All right, let me go back down to my slide. So mobile asset deployments, right? So mobile asset deployment refers to the managing of the life cycle of mobile devices such as laptops, smartphones, tablets, Internet of Things device within an organization. So we are looking at this. We are managing the life cycle of these and within the organization, right? So when we look at the whole concept of mobile asset, we're saying we have to do an inventory management. Why do we do an inventory management? For accurate inventory tracking and management are essential for efficient deployment of mobile assets. So we have to have an inventory. What do we have? What do we have at hand? We have to do a tracking system. So there got to be someone that is tracking what do we have so we can do the deployment of the mobile assets, right? So configuration is another part. Proper configuration of the mobile device, including software updates, security settings, optimizing functionality. All of this of the mobile asset deployment. Because how are you going to deploy it? You don't know what you have. The configuration, there's not proper configuration of the mobile device, and there is no software updates, there's no security settings. So when before you deploy these, you have to make sure all of these are intact. Distribution and training. Okay, so when you are developing all of these mobiles, right, you have to train the people um how to use them, train the user. So efficient distribution and user training ensure seamless integration of mobile assets into the workforce. Because if you're going to create them or if you have them at hand, you got to train somebody. How am I going to know how to use it if somebody is not trained, if the configuration is not right? How are you going to do it if you don't do an inventory to know that you have enough to deploy, right? So you got to make sure that you have all of these at hand. So for best practice for this mobile device is for the mobile asset deployment. What are some of the best practices? Mobile device management, enforce a security policy, remote wiping, and access control. So this is one of the best practice that you will want to adapt, right? The ability for to enforce security policies, remote wipeout, and access control. Device enrollment, automatic provision with zero touch, right? Deployment. Apple business management, Android enterprise. We have to look at security policies, implementing encryption, VPN access, and secure boot process. All of these are a part of the asset of what we call the mobile asset deployment. You have to make sure that these things are in place. Security policies. Do you have the implementation of encryption, right? Is the booting process secure? We have to make sure that all of that is a part of the best practice of deployment. Inventory tracking, using asset tagging and tracking solution to monitor device location and usage. We got to make sure that because this belongs to your company. As in the change management process, The people are going to use this. We have to deploy them to our workers, right? So we have to make sure we have enough at hand. We have to make sure that it is configured properly. So in the asset, we're talking about, I will put it in the case of those in the organization that's going to use the product for their job, right? Or it, we could put it on the outside, but by the time it get on the outside, all of these would have to be intact, right? That the customer or the end user know exactly that these things are in place. Let's look at an example. A company deploying a mobile device for remote employees. Configured configures with MDM, right? And MDM is mobile device management. Enforcing multi-factors authentication. Setting up geofencing policies to restrict unauthorized logging outside the country. So let me tell you something as it relates to mobile asset deployment. If we're going to keep it internal, right? If we're going to keep it for the sake of the employees, so let's deal with it from the within, not outside. When you are deploying a mobile asset to the employees in the organization, we said we got to do some management. We got to know what we have at hand. We as the company, our managers are going to ensure that the configuration is going to fit our criteria to the employees, because we want to know that the employees are controlled while they are on our devices, right? We want to make sure that they are controlled while they are using our devices.